You are listening to Imperfect Fifth, a podcast, offbeat conversations with music industry humans that we love. Today's episode is brought to you by Easy Visibility. Let Aaron Zimmerman be your visibility guide and visual storyteller, currently serving entrepreneurs globally. And by Double Take Productions. We have no tagline, we're just twins who have been taking photos, shooting and editing film, event planning, and more together since 2010. Be sure to nab your Rainbow Kitten Surprise hoodie or crop sweatshirt in our shop. Check out imperfectfifth.com/merch to see all of our current merchandise options, including small batch handmade earrings. For our fourth episode, we sit down with alternative punk rock musician Brian Walker of A Day Without Love.
My name's Brian Walker. I'm from Philadelphia, and I am the songwriter of A Day Without Love, which has been a project of mine for about 6 years. And it is had a rotating cast of different musicians and different vibes, from full band to solo to just collaborations over the studio. And what I like to do is I like to sing about rising above adversity and experiencing adversity in various forms, and talking to other people at shows about like how to rise above that adversity and learning to persist no matter what. And I also manage the Philadelphia DIY Collaborative. I also founded the Penn State Songwriters Club about 10 years ago. I'm a believer in community culture and diversity in music and artistic cultures. And that's pretty much like the short about me and what I'm about.
So what was the first song or album that you remember hearing, and does that work of art have any influence on how you approach your music today?
I'm going to say, in terms of the first record that influenced me to be what I want to be or I'm trying to be today, was probably either Avalon by Anthony Green or I'm Wide Awake It's Morning by Bright Eyes. It's definitely one of those two records. Because I remember when I was first playing the guitar, like I started playing guitar at 18, so that was back in, trying to figure out math right now. That was back in 2006. Those records weren't out yet, but like I was listening to like basically anything that was guitar driven. MySpace was a big influence of mine. So like, you know, back in 2006, a lot of people were listening to chugcore, where it was like one string guitar songs, just rhythmically done. And I knew that like I couldn't do that by myself, like, because that literally would not be very entertaining. But I definitely know when I was about 2 or 3 years into guitar, I was still learning a lot. But in addition, I wanted to know, like, how could I craft a song better and like tell a story about it. And then Avalon dropped and Wide Awake It's Morning dropped, and I just remember like, wow, this is kind of like what I want to do. So, but like in my own way, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't believe in mimicking the art.
That's fair, and we could tell absolutely that there's influence, but it's not mimicking, which is great. There's
thank you.
That going on otherwise. So
yeah.
But then you know, we're reading up and we hear that you're kind of controversial to an extent as well, because you posted your video for You Said. I mean, besides other things probably, but you posted that video for You Said on YouTube as a social experiment, and it almost got taken down. Yeah?
Yeah, it did. So I used to like double post my videos on Facebook as well as YouTube because hashtag engagement and algorithms. And like I started to say, you know what, I'm just going to direct all my videos to Facebook, and like I'm still in the process of like deleting old videos on Facebook and managing my content because that's what everyone does. But pretty much I got like a community guidelines post where they completely removed my video. They said people reported it, and then like I had a back and forth conversation with Facebook, and then I was just all like, is this because like right-wing people were offended? And I was like, to be fair, like I understand that like I'm still very much a small act. I haven't like reached mainstream cloud, but like, you know, You have like XX Tentacion, like granted he was a terrible person. He had a music video on Facebook of him lynching a white kid. You have This Is America, where he has like someone getting shot in the head, and other forms of racial tension and violence. And then there was another one, I can't remember his name. I think it was like Tracy Joyner or something like that, where he's rapping and talking to a white guy with a Make America Great Again hat. So I was just saying that, like, granted, like the direction I was going for wasn't directly influenced by them. I just knew that, like, if Facebook was hosting those 3 videos and letting people share it left and right, there's no reason for me to have my video shared left and right, you know.
Right.
Or Erykah Badu, like, she had a video from like the 90s where like everyone died on the street, you know. It was an Erykah Badu Roots collaboration.
So we actually were able to luckily talk a little bit about your latest single on the site this week. If the link hasn't made its way to you, it should here pretty quickly. I can send it over to now. But
gotcha.
What inspired that track specifically?
All right, so Fashit, what influenced that was I read this tweet from Barties, who I knew I was going to collaborate with anyways, and the tweet said, I need to write a song about fascism. And I was like, you know what? I need to do so too. Because in my record diary, I already wrote about unequal healthcare. I've written about gentrification. I've written about, like, you know, Black Lives Matter, racial tensions and social situations for microaggressions. So I wanted to talk about, like, what does fascism do to me, and not just me, but like the greater society from a general perspective, not so much a individualized perspective. So that's kind of the angle I was going for. And that's why I wrote those words, like, fighting on the outside, hurting on the inside, because, like, I think in society, and especially in today's, like, social climate, there's a lot of digital fighting where people are fighting on the outside, but we're not really aware of how people really feel on the inside. Like, take like minimum wage, the minimum wage debate, for example. Like, we know a lot of people are for it. We see protests of it happening like outside city streets. But do we really know how the individual feels on the inside? And one could only assume that they're struggling with an internal struggle where they're hurting, because like a lot of like the millennial and even Generation X dialogue is they're cynical about everything, because the attainment for equality is like it's looking pretty grim.
Yeah.
So and a lot of that is due to like fascism. So the word for shit, that actually came from the name of the drum sample we used, which was out of a drum machine, and that drum sample was called Fasheen, Fasheen. And next thing you know, we were just like saying, what a weird like word, given the fact we're like writing about how fascism sucks. And then like Barties goes, like, why don't we just call this song for shit? And I was like, I hope Spotify's okay with that, but I'm down with it. And then that's how it all happened.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Well, good job. But it also makes me wonder, by the way, like with your writing and your approach to it, do you always go at it with the concept of the song in mind first, or do you sometimes come up with lyrics first? Like, how does that process normally go for you, or does it change?
So like when I used to first write, it was just like, I'm excited about this chord, I'm going to put words on it. But now it's definitely like, it all depends on what the angle is. Like the single before for shit, like Going, that was like a year of work together. A lot of that had to do with schedule, so it wasn't like it took us a year to write those lyrics. But the two of us, me and Sam, were people that like we really didn't know each other. Grant, we met like you know, at a venue and stuff, and I just had this like 4 to 5 hour conversation with her at a coffee shop about like what I'm about. I wanted to know what she was about, and like we liked each other. Like, you know, there was like an attraction there.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, we're writing these words, and like it almost came naturally that we just wanted to talk about like don't stop going no matter who you are and what you are, and I think now, like, after the song, it's kind of like this is a reflection of who we are as people now that I know who she is and she knows who I am. So, like, that's how that song came about. And then the single for that, Good For Me, I just knew this person was a pop writer and, like, to write about relationships. And, like, at the time, I just got, like, dumped by someone. Granted, it wasn't, like, a serious relationship. It was just, like, a casual relationship. So I just wanted to, like, write about mental health. So, like, mental health and like how people in your life can like be good or bad for you. So I guess it really depends on the angle of the song. I mean, I just went through those 3 songs with you, and those were all 3 very different experiences.
Yeah.
So like right now, I think my songwriting process is like very flexible. It just depends on like what I'm trying to do. Sometimes it's a concept, sometimes it's a riff. I could literally just be playing guitar, like next thing you know, it's like, whoa, that's pretty catchy, and I could sing to it. Let's do something with it.
It's wonderful to be inspired by everything around you. I know quite a few songwriters that it takes them a while. And but have you ever been through a songwriting experience where it hasn't come as easily and it's taken you a little bit longer, or is it usually come pretty naturally to you?
Yes and no. I could say like yes in the sense that there's been times where it's taken me longer to write certain song parts. Like I'm writing a song with a harp player named Sarah Henya, and like we have been taking like 4 months just to write 2 verses, But a lot of that has to do with the fact that like our arrangement is changing,
Got it.
But I could write songs like every day, and I think that a lot has to do with the fact that like early in my guitar playing and songwriting, because I've been writing like lyrics or poetry since 6th grade.
Wow.
I had a 6th grade poetry book. It was terrible. So like, I'm 30 now. That was 11. So you're looking at 19 years of just writing in general. And like, yeah, I've taken a few English classes and poetry classes here, but like I throw all that out the window. I know a lot of people in the NPR world are hurting right now hearing this, but I just really think about like, how can I tell a story and what ways do I want to tell a story? And then most of all, like, how is what I'm saying going to stick? Because like it's your pop sensibility where it's like, all right, I want to mimic this like top 40 idea, which I throw out the window too, because I believe in like being authentic.
Yeah.
But I think there's a way of being authentic while still remaining catchy. And that's kind of like what I go for. So like I'll write, and then I then rewrite those ideas on what works and what doesn't work. And I listen to myself and say, all right, that was garbage. Oh, this does have something going on for it. Let's go from there. So like Diary, for example, I wrote like 75 or 84 songs over a 1.5 year period.
Uh-huh.
And I narrowed it down to 24
Yeah.
because what I wanted to do is write a diary, because diaries aren't rewritten. You get what I'm saying? So that was like the whole concept for that.
That's amazing and very bold.
Thank you. Yeah, I definitely understand that like I sacrifice quality compared to solace, but again, it's a diary.
No,
so,
right.
Yeah.
No, that's not even that. It's just me thinking like, my first draft of anything, I'm always just like, don't look at it. And not necessarily that that's what would happen with you. It's just having that be your final. It's to me as a writer, it's terrifying, but it's a brave, bold, and amazing thing that you did. And it's a great work of art. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So by the time this airs, you're going to be getting ready to set out on tour.
That's correct.
So what can we expect from your live show if, for example, any of us haven't seen it, or is there something specific you're really excited about with this tour in particular?
So you'll see me play like solo versions of some of the singles that I released. I won't be doing Going because it's weird. Like, Going is very much a duet. Like, Sam sings her part, I sing my part. Whereas, like, the other songs, like Granite, Bart, like, you could say also Fashit's a duet, but at the same time, I could sing in Bartusi's range. Not completely, but you get what I'm saying.
Right.
So, like, I'll be singing some of the new singles by myself. I'll also be singing songs from Diary. But in addition, I'm creating a documentary with videographer Brianna Spouse, who's also from Philly. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be talking to venue and art curators, space owners, bands, even fans about, like, how music and art communities across America serve as a space of community and society and how it affects their community. And also highlight the experience of, like, touring as a solo musician. Because, like, if Brianna wasn't there, it would just be me and my guitar for 17 days doing 18 shows, like, with no one with me. So, like, Brianna definitely will be acting as, like, my merch person / tour manager and stuff like that. But, basically, I'm just going to be, like, telling my story and also hearing other people's stories, which is why I'm calling this tour the Storyteller's Tour. So, yeah.
That's so awesome. I'm so excited for
Thank
this.
you.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you.
All right. So I kind of want to get into the food aspect of everything since that seems to be, your bread and butter. Do you mind telling us, like, what got you into vlogging about food and then this new project that you're setting on with that?
There's a couple things.
Yeah.
First, how I got into food. I've never really told the full truth of this, but I'm going to start now. So how I got into food was, and this is before I started bringing some music. So first, when I was 16, my grandparents started going on more cruises than before. So I, like, kind of was forced to, like, having to learn how to cook for myself because, pizza money, like, it happens, but it gets old. It gets really old.
Right.
So I just started getting cooking from there. Then fast forward to college, I was a psych major, and I knew a lot of women. And at Penn State, I don't know if it, like, happened to other colleges. I'm pretty sure it did. We had a lot of family dinners, and we took turns cooking for each other. So then the next step is, like, crap, I can't just be okay at cooking. I have to impress these ladies. Like, I have to be good at cooking. So, like, I cooked everything down to, like, soul food, to Italian, to Asian, Thai, like everything, like, you name it. I got into that. So then I, like, developed myself a reputation for that. And then I even continued in grad school when I moved to New York. And then after that, like, during my adulthood, like my young adulthood, I wanted to start exploring Philly for what it was. Because granted, I'm from Philly, born and raised. I never really explored the food culture. So the first challenge I put myself on was, like, 100 restaurants that represent Philly. And I basically did a meta-analysis, like, cross-resource list of all these restaurants, like, in Philly. And I, like, wrote a list, and I opened up a Tumblr when Tumblr was relevant, and, like, I took pictures of food, and I reviewed them, like, I literally did. And sometimes people joined me, sometimes I went by myself. And then my grandfather got cancer, and then, like, food just kind of wasn't really on my mind.
Right.
But during that time that my grandpa got cancer, I also quit alcohol. And, like, I was in, like, recovery and stuff. I mean, I still am, but, like, that's, like, what happened. And then I think my love for food as well as human connection, like, got found again. And I think as of 2017, late 2017, was the beginning of me bringing food and music together, because I believe food represents culture of how people, take care of themselves and operate and celebrate. But I also believe that music also, like, represents the storytelling of the people. So that's what kind of, like, got me into starting to talk to other people about food and experiencing things. So this Instagram handle called 3 Dudes and Some Meat followed me on Instagram, and their mission was to try literally every cheesesteak in Philadelphia. So I kind of copied them, and I wanted to try every ramen place in Philadelphia. As of the past couple months, I'm behind by one right now. But I still will be the one person that's tried every ramen place in Philadelphia. You bet it.
Oh
Betcha.
my gosh.
And I'm just now like trying different restaurants and highlighting reels of people in my life that are musical or creative, and just asking about who they are. Like my last vlog was with Samurai Bread, and we tried a Dutch waffle place, and then we got kicked out of that waffle place, and then went to a grindcore coffee shop, meaning like they were playing grindcore music, and like I talked to her about her journey as a musician. Before that, I talked to an artist as well as a musician. I talked to this guy that like basically gets new loaves of bread every week. So they're all unique people, and like in some way you could say they're unsung heroes because like they're just doing what they do like is best for them. But I still think it's interesting, and I want to share like those interesting stories and try new food with those people.
How wonderful!
Yeah, thank you.
So where can we find all of this?
It's on my YouTube. It's really like under the sub channel, like under my playlist that's like people you meet. So that's like where you could find like my food adventures. I mean, they're not all just food related. Sometimes they're just interviews about like new niche things that I do. But I'm pretty much just looking to talk to unique people. Like I'm not like trying to take the journalist job. I'm really just like putting journalism to my own life and my own lens. But from a music and food perspective, yeah.
But you, besides all of this amazing work that you do up there with art and writing and music, and you, like you touched on in the beginning, you also do a lot in your local community. Besides all of the other fun things, what are you up to in the community that you live in, and why are you known as the DIY dad of the city?
What I'm doing now isn't very much just because I have a 17-day tour.
Right.
But like my day-to-day essentially is I run this group called the Philadelphia DIY Collaborative, and I always tell people it was a happy mistake because in 2013 I started a nonprofit venture, keyword venture, not nonprofit, which was like a charity to raise money for Rock to the Future, which is a local nonprofit that teaches kids music that don't have access to it. Mm-hmm. And how I did it is on a seasonal basis, I would create these music compilations for people to purchase at name your own price. And then from that money, I would give the money to Rock to the Future. And also I had like bazaar style events where I would get like vendors and musicians to play this event and people would network. And, you know, all the money went to Rock the Future. That's why we were all there, right?
Yeah.
And I did it about 3 or 4, maybe even 5 times. But how I was sourcing all of these artists and musicians was through something I called the Philadelphia DIY Collaborative. And the purpose of that was really for people to collaborate and network with each other in Philadelphia. Cause like being from Philly, it's like a city of neighborhoods where a lot of people know about each other, but no one actually connects, right. You know? So I wanted to help people connect those dots. So that's how it all started. And then when I realized that this wasn't being cost effective from a sustainability perspective, keyword sustainability, not profit.
Right.
I knew that I couldn't really keep the machine going given that I didn't have any grant money. Like I was doing this independently, except with the help of like 2 friends, who were really just helping tactically. One person did help financially, but again, we recouped his funds. But yeah, so that was just way too much for me to do. So like I took a backseat to that, and then I transitioned to a number of things from volunteering for local festivals to curating meetup events for musicians on various things like how to book, how to pitch your music to press when releasing, how to set up graphic design and work with graphic designers to how can graphic designers get commissions to, like, there was a variety, like, how's jazz scene in Philadelphia, like there's a variety of workshops that I did. Also, like, I've had a lot of like online panel discussions, so I initiate those just for the sake of our community. I encourage other people to collaborate. We have like a mentorship program, which is available on Facebook, which I don't like oversee or micromanage, but like people can find mentors. So it's really like a hosting place for people like new and old to like network and like get things done. Some people find their bandmates there. Some people find their manager there. Some people find their PR there. There's 8.6 thousand people involved in the group. I'm probably going to say there's definitely a statistic there. About 2,000 to 3,000 people post a week, just across all the posts, like like, you know, shares and stuff like that. So it's like, granted, it says 8,000. It's still representative that a lot of people are being active. So I think that's pretty much like what I do day to day. It's not my job. I'm not profiting off of it. Some people think that I am, and like, that's just silly. Like, I'm literally making $0.0 on it. Never been Venmo'd anything. I mean, I get thank yous here and there, but I don't even get that many thank yous. Like, I'm really just doing it because I really believe in the fact that people should be able to help each other. Like, that's all there is to it. So that's like what I do. Now, to answer your question, how did I get the name DIY Dad? To completely be honest with you, I don't know. I mean, I'm a very punny, corny person, to be very honest with you. Like, I'm not normal. I make a lot of weird dad jokes to people. I think it also has to do with the fact that I'm 30, and granted, the average age in that group is 27. I am older than a lot of active members in Philly music. Yeah, but not by much. And I also think it might have to do with the fact that, unlike the everyday musician, I'm like very organized and like I do my best to put my shit together. Like, wait, I should have said shit, but like, you know, I do my best to put things together. Like, I have spreadsheets, I have Google Drives of like contacts of people I've met and stuff like that. So I think that's where that reputation came from, because people know that like I actually care. Like, I'm actually trying to make things happen. So,
yeah, you are. Have you always been this entrepreneurial, or is this just something that has kind of happened over the course of time the last few years?
According to my friend Nadine, who's known me for about 10 years, she says yes, I have. Like, she literally said that despite the fact that I do work 9 to 5 in HR, she would not be surprised if I became like a successful entrepreneur once I get that first big gig that pays me like a lot of money. And I was like, well, you're not wrong. So
there you go. Shout out there. All right. Well, if you don't mind, then I'm going to launch into really the last question that is not geared at all toward anything that we've talked about already. And I'm sorry, but I have to throw it in there. Aliens. We're doing it.
Alien?
Aliens.
Oh, we're doing it.
Yeah, we're doing it. Do you think they're enemies, or would you gladly accept an abduction to hang out with them?
So I actually happen to watch a lot of like sci-fi, anime, Marvel Universe type stuff. Yeah, I think it really depends on the alien, you know. Granted, like the human conception of the variety or variants of aliens there are, like it really depends. Because for all we know, some aliens might take a physical form that we aren't aware of. Some aliens might be very violent, like love to fight creatures, i.e. Saiyans from Dragon Ball Z.
Yes.
Some aliens might be peacemakers or moon people. Like, there could be moon people. I mean, in the world of chemistry, there aren't moon people, but there could be. So, like, it really, like, it depends. Like, there might be the emo people. There might be the anxious people. There might be the schizophrenic aliens. Like, you just don't really know. So my opinion is they're not necessarily enemies or allies. You just don't know until you know.
What is your favorite anime character and why?
My favorite anime character is Obito Uchiha from Naruto Shippuden. And the reason why I think he's I say he's my favorite character is because he's the tragic hero and villain, because he's a character that always had good intentions for being the leader of his village, but then he was injured and sacrificed one of his powers for his best friend, who was also his rival, and then got literally pawned and brainwashed by one of the big bad evil characters to thinking that the world was against him this whole time. And then when he finally realized the truth, he realized that his heart never changed and he still was a good person. And he never got to find the love of his life because she died. And like, I just kind of like identify with that because like, you know, I've never been in love. I've never like, you know, found true happiness, but at the same time, like, I've also gone through my dark stages of life where I thought the whole world was against me and nothing was right, and nothing was pure. So like, I get that dark side to him, but I also get the persistence because even before he died, he still wanted the best for his village and be the leader, but he knew he didn't have the chance because of like what happened to him. So like, I identify with like the character that still tries even if like it's not possible. So that's my favorite character. Yeah.
That's like kind of heartbreaking and amazing. So thank you for the deep dive to that. I appreciate that. I wasn't familiar with that character until now.
Yeah.
Well, what else you got on the agenda for today? Just gonna hang out?
I'm just gonna meet up with a friend, catch up with him, and then from there I'm just gonna hit the gym. And then the rest of this week I have a vlog interview. I have a show in Phoenixville, Vermont, and Boston, and that's pretty much it.
Oy, that's a lot.
Yeah.
I feel like you're always going like 100 miles a minute. Do you ever feel like you get a chance to slow down?
Oh no, I don't. and I like to. So, yeah.
Is there anything you'd like to tell our audience in addition to your other stuff?
Check out the Going music video on YouTube. Comment, follow, subscribe to all channels of content because content is constantly popping up. I do have a Patreon, and that does help me with tour costs, mixing, mastering, recording. So that's definitely really helpful. My Patreon is patreon.com/adayWithoutLove. And listen to Fashit, listen to Going, listen to Good For Me. And the next single comes out, which is actually an EP. It's a 2-song EP. It comes out on March 10th on Daylight Savings Time.
Awesome. Something to actually look forward to. Oh,
yeah, definitely.
All right. Well, thank you so much for taking time with us today, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you. Thank you.